You know that feeling when you sit down to focus on something simple, maybe reading an article, finishing a task, or watching a video, and within a few minutes your attention drifts somewhere else. Your mind jumps to a different thought, then another. A sound in the room pulls you away. A random memory surfaces. Suddenly you realize you've been thinking about something completely different from what you started with. For some people, this doesn't happen occasionally, it happens almost every time they try to concentrate.
Over time, the world tends to interpret this in a very simple way. People assume it means you're careless, unfocused, or not trying hard enough. It gets described as laziness or a lack of discipline. And after hearing those explanations long enough, many people begin to quietly accept them about themselves. But those labels usually miss something important about what is actually happening beneath the surface. Because what looks like a lack of focus from the outside often feels very different on the inside. Many people who get distracted easily aren't dealing with a weak mind. They're dealing with a mind that rarely stops processing. Thoughts move quickly, attention shifts rapidly, and the brain keeps noticing new signals. It can feel less like losing focus and more like being surrounded by too many things asking for attention at the same time.
This is where the real topic begins to appear. The psychology of people who get easily distracted is rarely explained in a meaningful way. Most conversations reduce it to willpower, as if attention were simply a switch you turn on and off. But attention is not a single system in the brain. It's the result of several networks constantly interacting, balancing focus with awareness of everything happening around you.
Neuroscience shows that one part of the brain helps maintain sustained attention on a task, while another system continuously scans the environment for new information. That scanning network is designed to notice movement, novelty, and change. In some people, that system is naturally more active. Their brain keeps asking a quiet question in the background. What else is happening right now?
Research in cognitive psychology suggests that sensitivity to new information is strongly connected to dopamine, the neurotransmitter involved in curiosity, motivation, and exploration. For certain people, new stimuli trigger stronger dopamine responses. A fresh idea, a new sound, or a sudden thought can quickly become more interesting to the brain than whatever it was focusing on moments before. Attention doesn't disappear, it simply moves.
Often, this pattern doesn't appear out of nowhere. The way a person's attention operates can be shaped by earlier experiences and environments. In childhood, the brain learns how much it needs to monitor the world around it. If someone grows up in a setting where things change quickly, where emotions shift suddenly, or where the environment feels unpredictable, the nervous system can adapt by staying broadly aware of everything at once. In that kind of environment, a young brain quietly learns an important rule: pay attention to everything. Notice subtle signals. Be ready for changes. That wide scanning style of awareness can remain long after the environment becomes calm. What later gets called distraction may simply be the nervous system continuing to operate the way it once needed to in order to stay safe and aware. But this isn't a matter of one pattern being better than another. Human attention naturally exists on a spectrum. Some people focus deeply on a single task for long periods, like a narrow beam of light. Others maintain a wider field of awareness that moves easily between different signals. Psychology doesn't frame one style as correct and the other as flawed. They are simply different ways the brain organizes attention.
There's also a layer many people overlook. The same minds that struggle to hold attention on repetitive tasks often excel at noticing patterns, emotional shifts, and unusual connections between ideas. Because their attention moves more freely, their thinking can become more associative. Creativity research frequently finds that people with flexible attention patterns tend to generate more unexpected ideas and insights.
At the same time, this openness can come with a quiet cost. Tasks that require long, narrow focus can feel mentally exhausting. Finishing something structured may require far more effort than it does for someone whose brain naturally locks onto one thing. So the experience becomes a kind of paradox.
a mind that can notice everything, yet sometimes struggles to stay with one path long enough to complete it.
If you recognize yourself in this pattern, it may help to see it differently. A mind that gets distracted easily is not necessarily a mind that is failing. In many cases, it's simply a mind built with a wider field of awareness. And once that perspective begins to settle in, something subtle shifts. The behavior that once looked like a personal flaw starts to look more like a particular way of experiencing the world, one that comes with its own challenges, but also its own quiet strengths.